Okay, so hi everyone, and welcome to SpeedyPublishing.co's Retailers Insights webinar. And what we'll be doing in this webinar is that we'll be looking on things that are commonplace with books that are being sold successfully on specific e-commerce websites and retailer websites, and of course walk-ins. So we polled a couple of companies and we got all that information put together, and we're going to be presenting that to you here so that you can actually understand what does well where and why those books particularly do pretty well. So let's get started. Okay, so first let me address a couple of things that are going on in the particular market. Now, what has been happening is that individuals who are part of a publishing company have turned themselves into what are known as headhunters. What they're doing is that they're going on Amazon and they're looking for books that are selling very, very well or are Amazon bestsellers, specifically if those books are only available in the electronic or digital format. And what they then do is that they go ahead and contact the author and they try to make an offer to that author and say, okay, well, we would like to publish you. Now, the key thing here is that is awesome, because what it does is that it validates your work. It tells you automatically that what you're doing is great, and that's a good thing. So the first thing that you want to do is that if you have been contacted by one of these publishing companies, is of course give yourself a pat on the back, because you've done pretty well in terms of publishing and of course discovering it, and clearly your sales are going on pretty well. However, you have to be very, very careful with these headhunters, because what they're basically doing is that they're trying to lock you in and get you into a contract that is pretty exclusive. And the problem with that is that if you go with them, it's not as if you can actually determine where your book is going to be distributed as a paperback. Or if they want to go ahead and they will tell you, okay, well, we can do a lot better with your digital sales and blah, 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 you have to be very careful. And there are three things that you have to make sure that happen if you're contacted by one of these particular headhunters. So what we like to call headhunters, we should actually call them book hunters, but they're, in my opinion, headhunters. So the first thing that you want to do is ensure that your contract that you have with that company is non-exclusive. That means if you want to move your content to another location, then you're going to be able to do that. Or you move it to another publisher, you're going to be able to do that. Ensure that the contract that you are getting, ensure that you read it properly and make sure that it's non-exclusive. It cannot be and should never be exclusive, because if that happens, they will of course attempt to submit your book to Amazon through their publishing account, and what will end up happening is that Amazon of course will bounce your existing book, and there's nothing that you can actually do about that, because if your book is being sold to Amazon through the Kindle Direct Publishing or KDP, then Amazon is actually paying 70% of your suggested retail price or your actual retail price, because they're just getting 30% in their agency model. Now, if someone comes to them with the very same book, the very same content, and they say, okay, well, Amazon, you don't have to pay 70% of the retail price for it. You can actually pay 45%. Then Amazon is going to take the 45% option, right? And clearly what they can do is basically they can price a book at any figure that they probably want to and please to. And that, of course, means that your existing book on Kindle will disappear. And more importantly, these particular headhunters will take the lion's share of that net amount, because they're taking up to 50% or up to 80% at times, depending if they're pushing your book through the paperback format. So that's something that you definitely need to be aware of. Ensure your contract is non-exclusive. Now, of course, you want to choose where your books are going to be distributed. So you don't want your book to be distributed to Amazon. You need to make that clear, because your book is already there. If they are not willing to do that, then don't enter into that particular agreement. Also, you need to make sure that, okay, well, your books are doing well, or your book is doing well right now. What's the real benefit? You do not want to place your book with them and your book becomes now a dust gatherer. That means that it will actually sit on the shelf, and then where is the marketing? What exactly is that publishing company doing in order to market your book? And are they doing things that are adequate enough to market your book to make sure that you continue to see those high sales that you've been seeing in the past, which of course triggered them to, of course, approach you. So that's basically a little note on those headhunters. Next, we wanted to talk about a company that we are in the process of signing up with, and the name of that company is ReaderLink. Now, we'll be distributing to ReaderLink through SpeedyPublishing.co. Now, if you are, of course, not a part of SpeedyPublishing.co yet, or you're still on the fence about that, or you're just not a part of it, or have no intention to be in it, you definitely want to check out ReaderLink, because ReaderLink is very, very, very good. And the way how ReaderLink actually works is that if an individual has their ebook or their e-reader, and they decide to walk into, whether it's Walmart or they decide to walk into Target or any one of these places, what ReaderLink has done is that they've created a web-based e-store. And that means if I walk in with my Kindle, I can actually buy an ebook right there from Target, or right there from Walmart, or right there in any one of the different locations. And they have several locations that they're working with. So I wanted to just quickly take a quick look on ReaderLink. So let's grab ReaderLink here. Okay, so great. So the way how ReaderLink basically works is that they place that store inside their web store, inside that particular store. And what happens is that your book is kept in their basic virtual repository. And what will happen is that they'll be able to log into Target or log into that section on their e-reader or on their tablet and be able to download that book. So it gives you another way to improve your discovery, which is clearly what we're all about at SpeedyPublishing.co. So they have some really good customers, which really drew us to them. So they've got Target. They also have Walmart, Kmart, the Major here. They've got Kohl's, Toys R Us, Costco, Sam's Club, BJ's Wholesale Club, Shopko, Walgreens, Rite Aid, Safeway, Super Value, Stop Shop, let's go on the line, Jan Eagle, Roundy's, and I think they also have, well, and more. So there are a lot of places that your book can now actually be for sale in the electronic format. What this basically does is that it gives you a whole lot more of discovery, because when individuals walk into those stores with their tablets, they are going to be able to download your book in whatever particular format. So it basically means if your book is in PDF, then an individual who is on their iPad, they'll be able to download that PDF and view that PDF. So they'll be able to read that content easily from their particular tablet. So it's not restricted specifically just to e-readers basically, but it also extends to regular tablets. Once you have an internet connection, I gather, based on my early discussions with ReaderLink, is that they're saying that this should also work for most cell phones as well. So that tremendously improves, of course, your discovery, and clearly it's something that we want to continue to push at SpeedyPublishing.co, and this is, of course, a company that we will be working with, and that's ReaderLink. Okay, so let's get right into the retailer insights. So we pulled basically 4 companies actually overall. We have 3 companies here, but we basically pulled 4 companies. And the reason why we said 3 is because Bookish.com is actually a startup. And Bookish is pretty much, I would probably say, a clone of Amazon to some extent, where they only sell books, right? So they are quickly becoming a very, very strong player in the market. They have over 250,000 titles for sale. So we thought it prudent, as they continued to, try and expand their customer base, we thought it prudent to give them a call and speak to them about what exactly is taking place, when people are visiting their particular website, and what is it that they're seeing with the books that are doing well, and what is it that they're seeing that are commonplace with the books that are doing well, and what is commonplace with the books that are not doing well. So the key thing here that they all said primarily, and I just wanted to get this out of the way before we started, was that obviously the books that are, the titles that have discovery behind them are the ones that are obviously and clearly going to do much better, because an individual is of course being driven to a particular URL, so it's no longer really a title. It's as if the book is now an actual URL or a web page. That basically means that as individuals continue to market their books and try and publicize or get publicity for their titles, then individuals will be driven to these particular retailer websites or these retailer stores. And what of course will happen is that people will of course be buying it. So the actual trigger search is not triggered by a basic search for whether they're looking for romance or fiction, or whether they're looking for a particular non-fiction topic or niche or genre. They are just coming directly to look for a particular title because this is where they buy their books. Now, the key here is that we wanted to find what was happening with those books that were ranking for particular keyword terms and ranking in particular categories, and why exactly this was basically happening and what was commonplace for those books. And we extended that, of course, to Walmart, because Walmart would help us to understand what happens when a reader stands in front of that book stand in Walmart and sees an entire range of books that they can actually purchase, and what is it that really works well with those books that are being sold. And we got some really good insights back from these companies. So the first thing that we want to say is, of course, is that all of what they said was in line with Nielsen BookScan. And we posted on the Speedy Publishing website a couple of weeks ago the link between metadata and sales in terms of a white paper report that was delivered by Nielsen. And there are a couple of things that were clear. And the first thing that was clear was that titles that met, a basic standard in terms of their metadata and having complete metadata see average sales 98% higher than those that don't meet the standard. And of course, you have the addition of an image has a strong impact on average sales of 268% in comparison to titles without an image. Now, those are two things that I definitely want everyone to kind of understand here, because what you have in your metadata includes, of course, your product, the product detail, your ISBN, the title, all of that information, description, long description, short description, all that information is critical. And they do mention that. But the very first thing that they mention, is, of course, the addition of an image has a strong impact on average sales. Now, to the point where that particular image affects sales by 268% is something that we have to take note of. And in reality, when we polled these companies, they came back with pretty much the same type of thing, which was in line with what Nielsen was saying. And of course, they mentioned all 4 key enhanced metadata. They saw an average sales rise by 55%, split into offline and online. Online sales, see an increase in offline sales, see an increase of 35% for titles which have all enhanced metadata elements present, whereas online sales see a massive 178% increase. And of course, for fiction, specialist nonfiction, and trade nonfiction, the long description appears to be the most vital piece of enhanced metadata, whereas for children's titles, the most vital appears to be the short description. And of course, fiction is the genre most significantly affected by the completeness of that basic and enhanced metadata. But if you're looking on all the numbers here, the most outstanding or the largest number is that 268% that is affected specifically with titles with or without an image. And that tells you how important that your image is actually is, specifically your cover image. So let's move on to actually see, and we're going to be starting with digital sales, and we'll be looking on primarily what companies like Bookish and what companies like Kobo had to say to us with respect to your digital sales, basically. So the first thing that they did tell us is that a short book description was critical, and the reason behind this was if your particular book is being placed on a retailer's website, some retailers have the capacity to take what is known as the long description, while some retailers, of course, take what is known as the short description. Now, if that particular retailer can only take the short description and you only have the long description, what is going to happen is that your description is going to be chopped. And when your description is chopped, it means that the description cannot carry as much weight as you would want it to carry. So what you want to ensure is that you have both a short description for your book and a long description for your book. And typically what you want to do is that you want to try and summarize a book in a single sentence, right? And you try to determine if your book is a fiction book. You want to make sure that you have the right characters and events from the story to include in your summary. And you want to make sure you get in as much information as you possibly can to try and give a brief synopsis kind of that particular book itself. So the short description is a key element. And what companies like Kobo said was that, hey, listen, if you want to do it, you need to definitely have a short description that is going to be able to help to sell your book. So that was one of the things, and Bookish also, counted and said that this is also something that's very, 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 very important. So the long description, and the long description is key here because companies like Amazon, companies like Kobo, even the Walmart website, and of course even the Bookish website, all have the capacity to take pretty long, book descriptions. Kobo is, of course, possibly, and Walmart is, of course, possibly the least places that can take that particular description. And Kobo, when you visit Kobo's website, you can actually see that they give you a lot of space to actually play with, but not as much as Amazon would give you, and not the capability that Amazon gives you in terms of adding an image to your long description, adding different elements, coding colors, stuff like that. And it's the same thing with Bookish.com. They don't give you, they basically will try and give you as much, space to actually write what you're writing, but they don't give you as much space as Amazon. So Amazon is typically the leader in that particular field, and of course Barnes & Noble to a lesser extent. But of course this remains one of the most important aspects of the process. You want to ensure that you use an excerpt of your particular book, and that's critical for fiction, right? You want to do that. You want to add your table of contents and add your most important chapters, and that is critical for nonfiction. And this was, both Kobo and Bookish also chimed in and said, for fiction books, you just really have to have an excerpt of the book, right? That probably one of the most juicy parts of that particular fiction novel. And more importantly, you want to add not just every single chapter. And they did mention this, and this is one of the things that I was in a position where I said probably I didn't really know, because they said people try to put their entire book, their entire table of contents there. If they can, they would. The reality here is that while that's good to an extent, if you put the most important chapters in that particular book and you do your research, especially for nonfiction, right? And you put those important chapters there, then that will actually do a lot more than just trying to throw all of the chapters in. And this is one of the things that both companies had said, that also works well for those books that are doing pretty well on their platforms. Now, of course, if you can add a few images, you should. That goes to say, basically, Amazon is really the leader with that. We haven't been able to see how you can actually add images to Kobo unless it's about the author or any other type of image. Kobo has said they'll be introducing more stuff that gives that particular author a little bit more leeway in terms of adding their content through their own publishing platform. Of course, if you're pushing your content through our publishing company, you can add that data in terms of supporting images and stuff like that, and that will be passed on through Onyx in terms of metadata onto that particular retailer. So, of course, you want to add as many images as you can. Children's books, of course, the information in your long description is pretty important, pretty key. So you want to make sure that you put that there. It does not have to be extremely long. They've said that for children's books, it doesn't have to be extremely long. But what is important there is that you want to basically talk about, who you're targeting, the child's age that you're targeting, stuff like that, and of course, what the benefit of the book is, and what's the intention of the book, or what's your intent in terms of trying whether it's an educational thing or whether it's just for pure entertainment and fun for your child and stuff like that, or this will have your child laughing and rolling on the ground and giggling. So if that's something you want to go ahead, that's what your book is geared to, you want to go ahead and ensure that you put that in the long book description. So those are the two things in terms of short book description and, of course, long book description. Now, your author bio is critical, and it's considered a critical influencer. So when you look on something like the Barnes & Noble website, we look on an author like James Patterson, and he has more New York Times bestsellers than any other writer. And his picture is, of course, featured on the Barnes & Noble website, because you can actually pass that metadata over to Barnes & Noble and have them input that data on the sales page. And of course, it works the very same with Kobo, and of course, it works the very same with Bookish. You can pass that information on through as metadata. Very, very, very important. But the key here is that what many people basically have done in the past is that they have taken that about the author or the author bio, and they've tried to stick that for every book. And I'll be honest with you, because in the past, when I just started publishing and didn't get this far in terms of research, I was guilty of this as well. I would take an author bio and I would say, okay, well, this particular author here this is his name, and this is a bit of information about him and what he's doing. What I would do is I would take that very same author bio and stick it on another book. What they're saying is that when you're putting together a particular book, it is prudent that you use that opportunity to relate, to tell your potential buyer or potential reader that your author can, is basically in the same situation that you are. So he can relate to the problem that he's solving with respect to this particular book. So if your book is about weight loss, you want to make sure that you talk about how your author, was able to lose weight. This is something that's very, very, very important. If you don't do that, and you have, a specific rigid author bio, you have a book about weight loss, and the individual wants to, of course, get that kind of validity. Okay, well, why should I buy a book from James Patterson on weight loss? What does he know about weight loss? Then that author bio must speak to that particular topic of the book. So for every single book that you put out, it is going to be crucial that you put a different author bio, because it has to relate to the content that you're putting out. And you want to make sure that is key and critical. And this is what the retailers have said to us, because then people can now begin to say, okay, well, they can see where the author is coming from, and yes, this author basically knows what I'm going through, and possibly if he was able to help himself, then the content that he has created here and is making it public would be able to probably help me, and I definitely just want to go ahead and try that. And so that basically works. And one of the ways that you can do this is that you can look on your content and see exactly, try and pinpoint your content and try and pinpoint and place your author in the reader's shoes, or potentially in the reader's shoes, and say, okay, well, for years I struggled with my weight. I wasn't able to lose that much weight. I tried every single dieting plan. It just wasn't working until I decided to develop my own, and here is the result. And these are the recipes that I used, and this is what I ate on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. and I did this for 7 days, and I did this for a month, or 2 months, or whatever the case is, and you put that information there with the author bio, and then they're now going to be able to relate, of course, to what it is that you're going to see that the author can relate to their particular issue, and it will lead them into a buying decision a lot faster than it would if it just said, "Hi, I'm James Patterson, and I have, a lot of New York Times bestsellers." So that's one of the things that they considered as a critical influencer, is that the author bio should be kind of specific to each particular title. So again, we also wanted to look on another photo. And we always want to get what is known as a good author photo. And in speaking to these guys, they clearly indicated to us that there are a couple of things that help with the reader identifying with the person, and more importantly, of course, the content in the book. Because when they see that particular person, let's say if, I want to lose weight, and we're going back to the weight loss category, that person now, looks skinny and looks really great in a dress. Now, companies like Jenny Craig do this all the time. They show before and after images, and you don't probably want to necessarily show a before and after image, but you want to show the image of that particular person in a really good dress and showing that they've lost, a lot of pounds. And if that has worked for them, you can use that to your advantage. Now, there are a couple of key things that you want to remember. One, of course, is that this works well for both fiction and nonfiction, right? So you can put an image of someone who has, of course, created a book on, let's say, vampire romance. And if that particular author looks, kind of dark, or in terms of dark arts, or they look vampirish, then it's clearly relating to the content that you have. So you want to make sure that that author basically has that author picture also works as well. Now, there are key things that you want to basically do. You want to use pretty large images. You want to ensure that that large image is high res, and the reason is because 90% of these companies are going to shrink your image down in a thumbnail, and you don't want it to be the case when they resize your image that it comes out looking a little bit blurry. And of course, you want to ensure that you use an image that you are typically proud of, and of course, you want people to actually see you, in that particular image. If it is of you, of course. If you're using a pen name and it's a created author, then of course I guess you'd probably try and get the closest kind of picture there, but always use a large image and always use a high resolution image as well. Now, of course, this is also critical for children's books. People want to see an individual who they probably think that they can trust as that particular author, so you want to always have that image of that particular person. So that is also very, very key and critical in terms of the reader or the potential reader kind of identifying with the individual and knowing who that particular individual is for that particular title. So another thing that they also said was the sample inside the book, or the sample of the book. And this was another critical influencer. Now, some websites do give you a basic sample like Amazon, but of course others might, shirk from that in terms of giving you a particular sample, i.e. a look inside. Now, the key here is that when individuals do get the opportunity to sample your book or get a sample of your book, there are a couple of things that you want to ensure that are at the top of your book. The first thing that you want to do is ensure that, the about the author is there. You also want to make sure that your ISBN is well displayed, and I'll explain to you exactly why that is in just a second. You want to ensure that your title and subtitle are there, and you want to ensure that you have an introduction, and you want to make sure that your table of contents can be seen in that particular sample. So it is in the sample that you really and truly want to get the reader involved in. And they'll be able to, kind of test your content, or to read through a little bit of your content to kind of see exactly what's going on with it, if it's going to help them solve their particular problem, or if it's going to be entertaining enough. Now that is where that particular first couple of chapters, if it's fiction, if it's nonfiction, then you of course want to make sure that that little introduction is going to tell everyone exactly what the book is all about, and so they can make their buying decision from right there and then. And of course the ISBN is used because you're not actually sure if at any point in time that the person who is looking on your book is not a retailer themselves. And if that retailer sees that your book is doing pretty well online, that retailer might, decide to get a copy of your book in paperback format. So he's either going to grab your ISBN and he's going to search on probably BookWire for your ISBN. The minute that they find that, then they're going to be able to order your paperback book as well. So that's one of the key reasons, and we discovered that because they did mention that the ISBN at times, especially for electronic books, are not displayed. In fact, some books just don't have an ISBN, and they're just thrown up there. And then, of course, a number is, of course, assigned to them by the retailer. But there are a couple of things that we wanted to look on primarily in terms of what we call ingestion. And how is it that distribution companies, pass on content, especially metadata, and what exactly is that they pass on. So what we want to look on first were 8 things that falls into what is known as ONIX metadata, and that you can actually ascribe to every single title, right? So you of course have what is known as your main description. Now the main description is a little bit different from the short description and the long description, right? Typically what we basically do is that we use the long description for the main description. However, there are times when you don't have to do that. You can actually create a totally different main description. And then you can have your long description and your short description. And each one of these are coded by a specific code. And finally, you can add things such as an excerpt. You can add a review, right? And then of course you can add the review source. You add in your table of contents. This is very, very important because in your metadata you actually have the opportunity to add in your table of contents. And that will of course be displayed by that particular retailer. And I have realized that if you go to Walmart and Walmart Books and you browse through a few of these books, some of these books have complete metadata like this and others don't. It just depends on what fields of information in terms of that particular retailer that they're actually taking. Now, of course, keywords are critical, and the keywords are based on, of course, BISACs, which are the actual codes that would classify your particular book. And finally, there is an award field, and we discussed in our last Speedy Nugget how you can actually make a little bit more money with your existing content by signing up for contests. And contests are a good way also in gaining that level of notoriety, and of course, more importantly, pushing your author's name, and at the end of the day, puts money in your pocket, which is always a good thing when you're publishing. So you have a section that if your book, of course, has won an award, that you can enter that metadata in there. Even if your book was just shortlisted, you can actually enter in that basic information in that particular metadata. So again, if we want to go ahead and recap, we've got, of course, our sample. We have a good author photo, high resolution image. We have our author bio, very, very important. We've got a long description, long book description, and of course a short book description that are key. However, there is a missing piece. And this was the main thing that every single retailer, whether it was online or offline, spoke to. But before we get to that main missing piece, we wanted to look on paperback books. And we wanted to talk a little bit about how it actually works for individuals who are selling their paperback books and how it works specifically in the places like Walmart, and what was the actual, consensus by places like Books A Million and Walmart. What exactly happened when individuals walked into their retail stores? What was going on? What happened? What typically occurred? How were these individuals picking out these books from the stands? and how are they making the decision to buy, and what was commonplace with those particular paperback books. Okay, so the first thing that we looked on was how people read at the particular book stand, and what exactly is it that they are doing. So people get to the book stand, they look initially, and of course they'll pick out a book. But there's something that jumps out to you basically once before you pick that book up, right? But when you pick it up, the first thing that you do is that you look on the first few pages. And then, of course, if it's a nonfiction book, you're going to look on the table of contents. And then you're going to look on the back cover. And, of course, you're going to look on if that book has inside flaps. If you're going to get the back and the front flap, you're going to look on those two as well. Typically, most times, the front flap. Or the front cover flap. So that basically kind of tells you what are the key elements that individuals are looking. Now, flaps only actually concern you if you're doing like a hardcover book. However, what we've been talking to companies like CreateSpace and like Lightning Source is if there is an actual way that on the inside of the actual paperback book, if they can have two-side printing. And they've been saying to us that it's something that they have been looking on. Of course, I'm not typically sure if they make it available to everyone or if it's in pilot or whatever the case is, but they are saying that with paperback books that there is the option to actually do double-side printing. So that is something to be aware of, that can actually happen as an inside flap for your paperback book itself now. But what were the most important things that the guys at Walmart said and the guys at Books A Million said? They said, A, you have to add an author picture to the back cover of your book, because the back cover is the most important. It is the fundamental element that helps to determine whether or not an individual was going to buy the book. And what was commonplace with most of those nonfiction and fiction titles that were selling well when someone got to that particular book stand was, of course, an author picture on the back of the book, a brief synopsis of the book, a snippet about the author of the book, and finally, expert reviews or customer reviews. What were people talking about? Now, when I was hearing this from the guys at Walmart, I was saying, really, is this really the case? Or really and truly that, can you squeeze in all of that information on a 6x9 title on the back of the cover? And they said, hell yes, you can. That can obviously work. And what they've seen is that those books that had that completeness in terms of that information on the back cover did extremely, extremely, extremely well, because it became very, very, very important at the end of the day. Because individuals will, of course, look at the first few pages, look at the table of contents if there is one, or read, the first little part of the particular book. But they're going to get that social proof on the back cover if there are even reviews and what people are actually saying about that particular book. Now, of course, you'd love to add expert reviews, but the point is that if you have a review from a customer or someone who has just said, hey, this book is really, really great, blah, 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 and you put that person's name and where they're from, it becomes very, very, very important, because at that particular stage now, you're going to be able to tell that customer that, hey, here's some social proof that the book is a really good one. And without them actually having to stand up at the book stand and read through everything in that particular book. While I've been told that there are some people who walk into Walmart, take down a book, put it inside the tray, walk with that book, and read as much as they can, and then when they get to checkout, they just decide whether or not they're going to buy it. This is what I've been told, and that it seems commonplace. It's extremely weird, but that's what's basically happening. So what you have the front part of your book, or the front matter of your book, is going to be very, very, very important. And typically at the end of the day, what maintains on the back cover of the book, they have said, is the most important and vital element with respect to those books that are seeing really, really great sales. So what exactly is the missing piece? What causes us not to sell as many books as we should be selling? And we alluded to this in the link between metadata and sales that Nielsen Bookscan put out, and they said it. And if you think about a whopping 268% difference just because of the image, that tells you, how salient, how important it is to get your image right. If you don't have your image right, then even if you're getting good sales, you could be seeing tremendously better sales because you had a solid image. So let's take a look on what we're talking about. We're talking about your book cover. We're talking about the fact that you need not just to have a regular book cover that, quote unquote, looks good. So we've got a great looking cover. I think it looks great. But in essence, is it really a great cover? If you look on this book, which is The Rising by Kelly Armstrong, can you actually see how this cover, even if you're seeing it on the screen here, how well defined the type of resolution that is for this particular cover? As simple as it looks, it's just a picture of a woman there or a picture of a model. This is an awesome cover because the resolution on it is so high. The resolution on this image is so high. And I'm going to give you an example. If you are at, or if your book is there with a particular retailer, let's take a look on this book, which is, of course, The Rising. And we're taking a look on it on Walmart's page. And what Walmart does is that Walmart actually gives you the option to kind of pinpoint, and see. Now, if you're taking a look on this and you can see this, can you see that the resolution on this particular image here? This is, I'm not even sure. This is, to me, in my opinion, way above and beyond 300 dpi. This is an absolutely awesome, almost seemingly lifelike image. And there's no doubt in my mind that this book will do extremely well. And of course, as you can see on Walmart's page here, you have the description. Of course, you have questions and answers. You have all the things here. So the title, the format, the publish date, publisher, ISBN 13, the language, etc., etc. Product details, book description, ratings and reviews, Q&A, pricing policy. So all of these things here are based on having an awesome cover. And this just blew me away because it just seemed so lifelike. But this cover alone on the book stand can let it literally stand out in the crowd. And you can see why a book cover can make the difference, and the image makes 268% in terms of sales, the largest number across the board. That was the #1 thing. And if you're logged into Speedy Publishing, you can go ahead and look on Module 7.8, which will give you what is known as enhanced metadata. And the Nielsen white paper is actually there. You can download it and you can read it in its entirety. And I can guarantee you that everything that is in that white paper leads up to sales of your book based on images and a massive, massive increase in terms of sales because you have really, really high quality images. Let's head back to our slides. Okay, so the key things that we found out when we spoke to these guys about their images, there were a couple of things that came out, and everyone, and I mean everyone, chimed in on these 10 things that are critical to do with your book cover. And I wanted to point out one of the things that I found out with respect to ordering covers and getting covers. Now, when we, in my early days as a publisher and putting out content on the digital, on different digital platforms, typically I don't log in to KDP anymore personally. We have a publisher account through speedypublishing.co. So I am not as, I'm not always on the Kindle publishing platform anymore, of course. But there is one thing that I wanted to point out that many people do forget. If you log into your Kindle publishing, your KDP account right now, and you hit add a title, and when you hit that add title button, you just go to click on book, click on browse for your book or add your cover. There's going to be a little note that's right there above add your cover, and it's going to tell you that the image that you are uploading right now is going to have a major impact on if your book is going to be sold. And that was one of the things that was really important to me, because Amazon basically tells you, and we always miss it as publishers, right? We always miss that. And if anyone wants to right now, just go ahead and log in, right, and just see and tell me if they're actually seeing that particular, that particular thing right there. If they're actually seeing that, go ahead and tell me yes. Type yes in that chat box. I'm going to continue with the webinar, but I want you to take the time and look. When you are adding a title, Amazon tells you how important that is, that your image will determine, whether or not the person is going to buy your book or not. And you can take the time and have a look on that and let me know at that particular point in time what you're thinking about that. So there are a couple of things that these guys weighed in on. And they said initially, you have to have a cover that's at least 300 DPI. And it's not just that one cover that is 300 DPI. What happens is that when a graphic designer or a graphic artist is putting together your content, they will take an image from one location and an image from another location and an image from another location. So they'll take different images and they'll piece those images together to make your cover. Now here's the problem. If all of those images, which are stock photo images, are not 300 DPI, when they are placed into that particular book, it can come out as not being 300 DPI. So if you use 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 images that are pieced together and they're 72 DPI, and then you try and save it as a 300 DPI, it might say it's 300 DPI, but it's really not 300 DPI. And what will happen is that when that image is resized, it's not going to come out as good as it's supposed to come out. Because if it was actually 300 DPI images that were used from the get-go, you would not have a major problem. You would be looking on some really great covers that when they're resized up or down, they would look exactly the same. So you have to understand here that you want to make sure that you're giving them a 1,563 by 2,500 pixels in terms of size. So at the very least, when you're scaling down, you should always keep the resolution because you're not scaling up. So you're not increasing the width of it where it will then become pixelated. You're scaling down. And scaling down means that you will still be able to keep that really great resolution as much as that particular cover that we were just looking on. So you have to make sure that your designer is doing the right thing, because that designer can be taking content or taking pieces of different images just from off Google search, right? Or they can be going to somewhere like Dreamstime, or they can be finding free images on sxc.hu which are not 300 DPI, and as a result, while your cover might look like 300 DPI, when it really goes to that retailer, it is not 300 DPI. So you want to make sure that your cover is at least 300 DPI or 300 plus DPI, and all the images on that cover are exactly the same. So You also want to make sure that your images, your cover images, look unique and eye-catching. That is something that is very, very important. They did say that, make your cover as eye-catching as possible, that you stand out in the crowd. So if a whole bunch of books appear for a particular search, that your book will stand out. Your book will, people will notice your book, right? And they'll go ahead and either reach for it on the book stand, or they'll go ahead and click it to learn a little bit more. And that's when, the whole work of your metadata now starts to take place. So it really and truly starts off with that particular book cover in terms of generating interest. You must use at least 2 primary colors, which is what one person actually said. I'm not really sold on that, but in speaking to our graphic artist, who of course is an ex-employee of a company by the name of LMH Publishing, which is a major publishing company in the Caribbean, I'm going to talk about that particular graphic artist and the team that worked with that particular graphic artist as well. Your title must be indicative. Your cover must be indicative of the title, right? So you want to make sure that the title matches with the particular cover that you have. And someone should be able to look on that particular cover and kind of tell, what this book is all about, or at the very least, it should generate a level of interest for them to definitely say, blot, or whatever it is, if you call it an ink blot. When you look on an ink blot, you know it's an ink blot. You can use that. People have used that. I've seen people use that as a cover already, and that generates some level of interest. That was very clever, by the way, by that author who did that. So you want to make sure that you are consistent for all formats. That means that your cover must be consistent for your paperback book, and it must be consistent for your audiobook and, of course, your ebook. So you want to make sure that that high-level quality is kept so that when your actual cover is printed and your book is printed, that the cover comes out well. I know that there are a couple of our members who have ordered books through CreateSpace, and because CreateSpace is like mass marketing, their covers, if your cover is not spot on, dead on, if your cover is not extremely, really, really, really great quality, because of how they publish, it's not going to look that good. And I know many authors can relate to this because they just, it's so absolutely terrible with CreateSpace in terms of how the book looks. It's true. The reality is it's true, but part of it is our fault because we didn't make sure that we had a really, really high DPI cover image. And that was one of the issues that we had. So there was no consistency in terms of the quality of that particular paperback. We also wanted to talk about the fact that you want to make sure that your book stands out in the crowd. You want to make sure that there is that element of, pick me up or click me kind of thing with that particular title. You also want to make sure that when your book is shrunk into a thumbnail, and this is based on the graphic artist, which is why it's so important to have someone who knows about publishing and who understands that process, because you can get a cover from someone on Fiverr, and that person, you can say, okay, well, hey, the cover really looks great, blah, blah, blah. You have to actually test that cover to make sure it's 300 DPI. You have to make sure that it's 300 DPI. And how does that cover look when it's brought down to a thumbnail size? Is the quality still high? Is it still legible? And does it have that pick me up or click me quality that is the same way, that works the same particular way as the big version? And that's very, very important. So you want to make sure that that graphic artist or graphic designer or cover designer, whatever you want to call them, is able to test that and know that they are required to test that to see, okay, well, hey, look, it's looking really good as a thumbnail, right? You also want to ensure that your spine has a little bit of color. So if you're using, you can use what is known as a run-on spine, where you just have the flat, cover image itself, but you can determine, what's on your spine. It really is determined by the size of your book, right? So if the size of your book is 24 pages or the size of your book is 200 pages, then you can have the opportunity to put something actually on that spine. You can add something on that spine. So if you're doing a book on weight loss, for argument's sake, right? You can use, and your book is say 200 pages in the paperback format. You can say to the graphic artist or the graphic designer, okay, hey, my book is 300 pages. And what I want is that I want to add something that might help to, enhance the look and feel of the particular book. Can I add something to the spine of the book? Now, typically, for the spine, you're going to want to have the title, basically, or the author name, or so and so and so. But you do have the option of adding all of those things, including something else. And it's real estate on the particular cover, and you can use that to your advantage. And of course, that is if the size of your book in terms of the number of pages, and of course, the print size will work with this. And that's very, very important, and you want to make sure that your graphic designer, your graphic artist understands that you can include that color or something on that particular spine. Now, of course, you should not let it exceed the bleed. Very, very important. And most people don't seem to understand that fact, that you can easily upload that basic bit of content to your, upload your cover, whether it's to the Kindle or whether it's to your paperback publisher, whether that's Lightning Source or whether that's CreateSpace. And what can end up happening is that your content will be pushed out because there are elements on the page that feed into the bleed of the page, and you don't want that to happen, right? And you want to make sure that you're going to be able to sort that out or solve that problem. But everything boils down to these 10 things. And one thing every single retailer said, just have a great looking cover. You've got to have a really, really good looking cover, because that's the first thing that the person sees, and that first impression will last. So if you have a really great cover, really great metadata, you have really great every single thing that we spoke about, an author page, an author bio, all of those things are well put together, then your books can really see a lot more sales than what you're seeing now. And you want to ensure that you keep that level of consistency with respect to your paperback books and, of course, your audio books. Now, I just wanted to quickly mention that audio is typically a kind of different thing. Even if you wanted to go through ACX as the distributor, there are other ways, and we at speedypublishing.co are, of course, taking audio books. And it's kind of a little bit difficult to upload that audiobook to our system if the file is extremely large. So there is, of course, an FTP page that you can actually upload that information to if your file is extremely large and it is timing out in the members area. So again, let's run over these 10 things. At least 300 DPI, must be unique and eye-catching, at least use at least 2 primary colors, which my graphic artist said that's possibly true. It just depends on who the graphic artist is and what they can work with, how skillful they are. The title, the cover must be indicative of the title and help people to kind of put the two together, so they must be kind of related. It must be consistent across all formats, must stand out in a crowd, must be sharp even as a thumbnail, must include something on the spine if the size of your book will allow it. So if the size of your book in terms of number of pages will allow you to have a larger spine, you can put something there on that particular spine. And a good graphic artist or a good book cover designer or graphic designer can do that for you. And of course, you must not exceed the bleed. And just make sure it's a great looking cover. That's what sells. Those are the things that the retailers came back to us and said, these are the most important. And every one of these and all that we've covered before in terms of metadata right down to the cover was what all good selling books had in common. And we started off by telling you that what we discovered was very much in line with what Nielsen Bookscan was saying. And they pulled a lot of books in terms of looking on thousands of titles and seeing what was going on with those titles, what were commonplace with some, what were not so commonplace with some. So those are the basic 10 things that, why your book cover is most important, and you want to make sure that your book cover meets these standards. Now, for everyone, once we put up the replay, I'm going to add a link so you can actually get this for these particular slides. So you'll have these slides in a PDF, so not to worry. Okay, so let's head down. So when we discovered all of this, we decided to solve some of the problems that we did know about and some of the problems that we did not know about. So we already had a couple of really great designers on board. They were great, but they were not super great for publishing companies. So what we had to do is that we had to go out and recruit. And we went through about 60 different applications, and we picked 3 really top-notch quality designers. And we brought them on board for SpeedyPublishing.co. And we pushed them into a system where, because we're publishing our own content as well, but if we're doing just 30 books per month through our own company, we didn't really need so many, but we wanted to make sure that everyone in Speedy Publishing had the opportunity to use these great graphic artists. This is what they call themselves. They're not graphic designers or book cover designers. They are graphic artists. And the key here is, of course, they are not cheap in terms of what we pay them now as a salary. And one individual, of course, is an ex-employee of LMH Publishing. One individual is an ex-employee of Macmillan, and the others are ex-employees of LMH Publishing. And they are quality designers. So we have 3 quality designers who have worked for a total of over 13 to 14 years with publishers both in the United States and in the Caribbean. And that was very, very, very important to us because we wanted to get that international flavor or that international side of things and how that worked, of course, in the Caribbean. No, we were looking for someone outside in terms of Europe. We didn't find anyone that really and truly met what we wanted in terms of the skill. We gave all of these individuals the opportunity to create a particular cover for us. And we looked at all of these and we were finding some really top-notch quality people, and we were just able to choose the best ones from the lot. So we hired on experienced graphic artists. We increased the stock photo websites that we were getting stock photos from. So in the past we used StockFresh, DreamTime, and a couple of those places. Now what we were able to do was to expand that by signing up with iStockPhoto, Shutterstock, 123RF, and Getty Images. And these are top quality. These are the top quality stock photos. Nowhere like SXC.hu. We wanted quality content in terms of images, and we wanted to be able to download images that were extremely high in DPI. We needed to have that so that we could continue to build our repository. We decided to ensure that when we are creating a particular ebook cover, we are also taking into account the paperback and also taking into account the hardcover and also taking into account the audiobook. So when we are creating that initial design in order to ensure that there is that kind of uniformity across all different formats, we made sure that we remained rigid in that particular way. We also decided to take on a new, what was called, our own Dropbox, which is the largest offering that Dropbox offers, in order to store all of these images. So each time we get an image created, whether it's for a client or whether it's for us in-house, all of these are kept in a particular repository. What that basically means is that if you're given a download link, you can download that link from now till the next 50 years, As long as Dropbox remains online, that link will always be there. One of the reasons why we did that is because we use a particular strategy in Speedy Publishing known as refreshing. So let's say that I have a diabetic diet plan book, and we tag that diabetic diet plan book as new for 2013. When 2014 rolls around, of course, that title will no longer be sufficient. It will no longer, be relevant because we're now in 2014. That basically means that we're going to have to refresh that cover, and of course, we also want to refresh the content. So if you now have that book cover in a repository, I can contact my experienced graphic artist and I can say, hey, look, here's order XYZ. Can you update order XYZ and have XYZ done to this particular order? And that can be done quickly because the graphic artist can be able to quickly grab your particular image and quickly change it and make whatever adjustments to it. And if you wanted an entirely new image, that could be done. What if your book became an Amazon bestseller and you wanted that Amazon bestseller logo to it and you didn't want to actually do that yourself? You could reach out to that particular graphic artist and have the particular graphic artist get that sorted out. Now, of course, we also got a couple of font libraries, which meant that the fonts that are on those particular book covers are not the normal fonts. These are things that you want to definitely take note of. These are things that are going to help your book to stand out above the rest. Now, finally what we did was that we trained our staff on using Photoshop and GIMP as editing software. Here's the reason why. When a graphic artist grabs your cover and tweaks it, there might be a case where you as the author might say, well, I want to do a little bit more to my cover. So you might personally want to try and edit it yourself. Hence, it's important that you keep that file, which is known as the PSD file, if you're versed in Photoshop, and you can get the gimp.xcf as well. So we wanted to make sure that our staff was trained in that if we wanted to make changes ourselves to anything at all, that we were going to be able to do that. So we had to make sure that our files came back in two formats, which was, of course, GIMP and, of course, Photoshop. So fast forward to a particular service that we created for Speedy Publishers and publishing people who are going to be publishing through speedypublishing.co. And we call it 24-hour covers, right? And to access 24-hour covers, there is a gateway and an entryway to get in here. And the reason why we did that is because when we mentioned that we hired on these particular graphic artists, we have to take them on a monthly basis. So they are paid a flat salary, and it doesn't matter what they basically do, but we need to keep them on board so that our members have access to these guys. So there is a gateway to get into, of course, 24-hour covers, but there's so much more to offer through that particular service. But I just wanted to talk a bit quickly about 24-hour covers. So the way how 24-hour covers works is that you are able to order your own cover, fully designed, whatever you want on that particular cover you can actually get, anything at all, high quality, 300 plus DPI, anything that you need for that particular cover. Your ebook cover is going to be compatible with Kindle, Barnes & Noble, Kobo. That means that you're going to be able to upload that cover to any one of these platforms and, of course, speedypublishing.co. Your CreateSpace cover or your paperback book cover is also going to be highly customized. As we mentioned before, you can determine if your book is 24 pages or 34 pages or 54 pages, what you can actually put on the spine. You can customize that, and that particular ebook cover is, of course, going to be compatible with that particular, that ebook cover is going to be compatible with your paperback cover. Finally, you get what is known as a high-quality audiobook cover. So you're basically getting 3 initial files, which are highly customized, whatever it is that you want. If you're doing a book on diet and weight loss, all you've got to do is give us the title, give us the title, give us a subtitle, give us the author name, tell us exactly what it's all about, what it is that you're basically going to need. Upload any supporting images that you might want to add to that particular cover. However, we need to make sure that those particular covers, those particular images that you're uploading are going to be 300 DPI. If they're not 300 DPI plus, we're not going to use them. So that I wanted to make that clear. So you're going to be able to do all of this in 24-hour covers, and you're going to get that high quality audiobook cover. You're going to get your paperback cover, and you're going to get your ebook cover. So you're going to get 3 ebook covers, right? And with those 3 ebook covers, you're also going to get the PSDs and the XCFs. So you're going to be able to upload those. You're going to be able to make those changes all on your own, whatever it is that you want to do. And more importantly, you're going to get your covers in 24 hours or your money back, and you get your cover free. And we are holding our graphic artists, because the 3 of them, so they work assiduously around the clock. And as we mentioned before, some of them are in different parts of the world. So the key here is that no matter the time of day, someone is creating a cover through 24-hour covers. And when you place your order, you get your order within 24 hours, and you're only paying $29.99 for that particular set of covers. So it's compatible with Kindle. You get your ebook cover, you get your paperback cover, and you get your audio cover based on everything that we have discussed in this particular training webinar. And you also get your PSDs and XCFs as well. And you get that within 24 hours. And that is how 24-hour covers basically works. But as we mentioned before, those guys who are employed to us, clearly are really high quality, top-notch, designers and artists. And their salaries are not pretty low. So what we basically did was that we placed 24-hour covers behind a superb service known as eBook Cover Factory. And what eBook Cover Factory is the gamut of, it is, I would probably say, the woolly mammoth of covers online. And we created this again with our Speedy Publishing members in mind. And the way how this works is that immediately once you sign up with eBook Cover Factory, of course, you get instant access to the particular page. You also get 200 plus template packages in 11 to 12 categories just to start. Now, these templates and cover templates come in PSD, XCF, and are absolutely unique. You can update those particular covers as you please. Every single month, our graphic artists, every single day, they create one template for us. So we have basically 3 to 4 templates being created every single day. So at no particular point in time, even if we don't have orders coming in, which are 24-hour cover orders, our graphic artists are working. That means that they're creating covers every single day. And those covers are fed into eBook Cover Factory at the end of the month. So we add about 120 new and unique templates. Sometimes it will be more unique templates every single month. Those templates can be added to Kindle, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Lulu, and of course SpeedyPublishing.co, which is one of the things that we know, because when we're pushing out your books, we want to make sure that we give your books the best opportunity to succeed in the market. Of course, your books are going to have these templates are CreateSpace compatible, both front and back cover, and we teach you exactly how to edit these and upload them to CreateSpace. They are Kindle Cover Creator compatible templates. Now, I'm not sure if everyone basically knows how the Kindle Cover Creator works, but you are actually able to go ahead and log in to your Kindle page, hit that Kindle cover creator, and when you get in there, there's one thing that jumped out at me. And I remember a particular member talking about this in the Facebook page, and I said to myself, okay, well, yes, it's pretty awesome, but one, it's very rigid with respect to where you can place your text on that particular page. That was one. And two, they give you some images which, I don't know. Those images that they have there are just absolutely awful. Some of them are far from 300 dpi. So you wouldn't want to use that. You would want to use something that is high in DPI. That way you're getting a really solid cover. So we created 40 of these unique Kindle cover creator templates that all you have to do is just upload that JPEG to your particular Kindle cover creator and slap on your text, and of course you would be ready and raring to go because you would have a cover created in no time. And we add to those particular unique Kindle cover creator templates over every single month. So another new batch is added every single month. You also get your PSDs and your XCFs. All of those are, of course, included. You get a font library of over 100 plus fonts, which are going to help your books stand out against everything else, because those fonts that you will be able to use would not be anywhere else typically being used by a particular book designer or book cover designer. You get your Amazon bestseller logos. You get the opportunity so that members can actually vote for the templates that they want for the next month. So if you're doing a lot of self-help books, you can say, okay, well, I want more self-help books, and someone else wants to do an art and photography or business and investing, you actually have the opportunity to vote for the particular book at that particular point in time. We also give you training videos on how to edit your templates in Photoshop and GIMP. Now, if you have never used Photoshop and GIMP, it's extremely easy to do. You don't have to understand Photoshop in order to hit the download button, because we give you the download link, download Photoshop, tweak your templates, and you're out in a jiffy. Of course, Photoshop does cost, GIMP does not. GIMP is absolutely free. So what we've done is that we've created that particular template in GIMP as well. And you'll be able to get that GIMP template and change the text in that particular template as well. Absolutely awesome features, and we train you exactly on how to do that. And finally, you get 24-hour covers membership. Now, there's no other service online, I can guarantee you, because I looked. Because at the time, I said I wanted to be able to partner with somebody who was serious. And the reality is that these designers are not on Fiverr. These designers are not in Odesk. You might find a couple of them on Elance, but the rates that they're charging for one cover, and it's going to take you a few days to get that back, is horrendous. I pulled a couple of people on Elance who were book cover creators. And for one average really great book cover, you're talking about 120, 130 bucks. And it will take you at least 3 to 5 days to get that back, depending on the workload of that particular person. Or, of course, you can choose to go with Fiverr. Now, Fiverr covers, you're going to find people who are going to provide you with covers on Fiverr that look good. But in essence, you're not getting what you're supposed to get, because it makes no sense for you to create content that you're not going to put in paperback. Even if it's not, even you're not going to put it in audio. You want to have those, and you want to be able to use a strategy to make sure that you can edit that particular image, slap on your Amazon bestseller logos if you need those, or slap on anything else that you want to ascribe to it. And if you are an individual who just wants to get a cover back in 24 hours and you can pay 29 bucks for that, then you can do that through 24-hour covers membership, and you have to be a part of eBook Cover Factory to get in that. And that's just to make sure that we don't bog down the entire system. So we're going to move into the Q&A session really, really quickly, but I just wanted to spend basically just 2 minutes to actually show you, give you a look on the members area, and to possibly take a quick look on, let's see, a couple of these particular covers here. So this is what you're actually going to see in the members area here, and you can go through and take a look on some of these particular covers. And we can move through. Pretty excellent high quality covers, and you can change the content that you have here anyway into anything that you want. And this is for fiction, and because I do know that a couple of us are actually going into fiction right now, and it's going to be pretty exciting to see how individuals handle that. And of course, if you want to head over to 24hourcovers.com, the way how 24hourcovers.com works is that, of course, you've got to place your order, and you can do that from right there in the members area right here. So you can, once you hit on 24 Hour Covers, you can actually go ahead and place your particular order. And once you place that particular order, you're going to be able to put in your information. So you're going to choose what program you are with. So you're on eBook Cover Factory. You're going to add in your primary email, of course your secondary email. You're going to put in your PayPal unique transaction number, the title for your cover, the subtitle, and the author name. Now you have the option to put in your optional information. And you're going to be able to enter the back of book info. And you're going to be able to upload your author image. So it must be 300, a max 300 in width and height, and must be minimum 300 DPI, and that's very, very important. If you have supporting images, you're going to be able to upload those supporting images, and you have a section here that you can now enter special instructions for the designer. Now, there are a max, as we mentioned before, we have 3 designers, and they will create up to 5 covers per day. And it takes them a very, very long time. It takes them approximately, I would say, at least 2 hours to do one particular cover. But these guys are machines. So they work basically 9 to 10 hour days. And they're always behind the computer coming up with a particular concept. And the key here is that we can do a max 15. And as you continue to order here, what will actually happen is that this will go down. So when you get to this page, you'll actually be able to see how many orders are left open for that particular day. Now, if you come here and you see there is 0 orders and you've already bought a particular title, you're going to be able to reserve a spot for the following day. So you can go ahead and hit here to reserve a spot for the following day. So that's very, very, very important that you'll be able to get in for the following day pretty early. So once you see 0, and we do take, of course, a maximum of, I would probably say, I think we take 10 reserves for the following day, just because we want to make sure that the designer can get up and start working immediately. So to get into eBook Cover Factory, it only costs, well, what we've been told is that we could charge $99 or $199 per month, because this is something that we know is nowhere else. Because within a year's time, you'll have access to over 1,500 different cover templates. And we're maxing out at 200 members, which is basically 50% of, well, less than 50% of the Speedy Publishing membership. And if we do bring on any more people, we'll decide to reopen, because we can't afford to have a gazillion people in there as a result of that. So we've got to close it off at 200 people max, and we're going to shut it down based on that, so that everyone will have the opportunity to really get great covers for their particular books. So that basically rounds up what is our typical solution to the particular problem. Now, to get into, whoa, hello? Vicky, you've lost sound? Victoria? Is everyone hearing me, by the way? Oh, okay, great, Adrian. Okay, awesome. So basically, what would actually happen here? I'm going to, if you want to actually get to or into ebook Cover Factory, as we mentioned before, great, Larry. It's 97 per year. So for 97 bucks per year, you get into ebook Cover Factory. And as we mentioned before, we are going to max out at 200 people. And what we're basically doing is that we're using that particular service to keep our graphic designers on. Now, what we have in Speedy Publishing is something that we still have kept the couple of designers that we have that have worked with us in the past. We don't use them for our high quality covers anymore. That is just the reality of the situation. We do have them putting together stuff like fixed layout books, because we've been looking on that as we continue to publish through Speedy Publishing, especially with our Publish Direct clientele. We've been looking on that in terms of creating what are known as fixed layout books, and we've been using those particular designers in terms of adding those particular images into those particular books. So they have been working very closely with Team Omega in terms of getting our content out through Speedy Publishing, especially with Publish Direct members, and of course to assess what we are getting through our general membership with speedypublishing.co. So we always take some time, because once your book is approved and then we start to move your book into distribution, we do of course take the time to vet and look on what's going on with your particular books. And very, 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 very important. Okay, so to get on to ebook Cover Factory, all you've got to do is visit www.ebookcoverfactory.com. Now, we've been looking and we've been realizing that there at times is a particular glitch with Amember, which is our particular service that we use as our gatekeeper, and that does happen a little bit with Internet Explorer. But we've realized that we can tweak this particular problem, and we've done that server side. So if you get in through Internet Explorer, there might be a glitch. You'll still get your login information. You'll still get your email immediately once you sign up, and you'll be able to log in, and you'll be able to go through the particular pages, especially in the members area page, right? So that is very, very, very important. So across the board, the first thing that you want to do is go ahead, jump on, sign up, and we can get started right away. Now, let me go ahead and just put that link in the chat box. Oops, daisy. So that is http www.ebookcoverfactory.com. So I'm going to send to all. So everyone should get this. Now I'm going to start taking questions, but I need to quickly answer, I think, a particular question that came in from Gerald. So Gerald, I haven't forgotten you. Here is, of course, the questions that you asked, and I just wanted to answer it. So everyone, basically, if you had this question before, you'll basically know. So I still have questions about SPCO books on Amazon Kindle because of so much ebook distribution, because so much of ebook distribution is through them. First, as a very effective promotion tool, we have been including inside our Kindle books a list of other books in the same niche with live links to the Amazon sales page for each of them. Awesome. Since this is just a Kindle provision only as far as I know, we would lose this tool for SPCO books when you submit them to Kindle. Or would you be able to do this with our books for the Kindle platform? Yes. Now, if you submit a book to us and you have what is known as your backlist or your front list, and let's just define both. Front list, of course, is possibly within the last 12 months of the year books that you have actually published. So that is considered your front list. Your backlist is basically a year old, right? So if you want to put in, of course, your front list or your backlist in the books, that is absolutely fine. We have no issues with that. We are concerned with the quality I would say, basically, of your content. Not so much so in terms of editing or stuff like that. We are concerned that the quality is unique to the point that it is not available freely on the web. That is one thing that every single retailer has made that clear to us, that we should not be carrying, or posting stuff or sending them stuff that of content that is freely on the web. That will just not work. So we take every precaution to go through that, and it is, in my opinion, that our distribution company does also probably take that check as well. They have not indicated that to us, but we know that, of course, they want to protect their own system as well, and of course they have to be their own gatekeepers at times. So yes, Gerald, it's quite okay for you to put in your front list or your back list in your books. SpeedyPublishing.co will, of course, publish them. So next, will SpeedyPublishing.co implement search strings for your Amazon book platform? Yes, we will, if you are a part of the Platinum Author. So we already know that the search string strategy that is basically used, that we talk about a lot in Speedy Publishing and in 12 by 12 as a critical part of marketing your book on the Amazon platform. Yes, we do use that particular search string. And yes, if we are putting your books into places like Goodreads and advertising your book, whether it's by pay-per-click or it's by CPM offers or whatever the case might be in terms of the proprietary methods that we're using to, of course, gain discovery for your titles, yes, that search string will be used. So we create that if you are, of course, a part of the Platinum Author membership. We definitely go ahead and do that. And does SpeedyCo select certain books for Amazon singles and submit them? How can we submit them through SpeedyCo? Okay, so here's the thing. We work with a literary agent, and of course, we have two publishing consultants. Our first publishing consultant deals directly with Publish Direct, and our next publishing consultant manages the team that goes through the existing content. Now, if you think that your title, could possibly go to Kindle singles or Amazon singles, we have a no reading fee with that particular literary agent. The problem is that she basically does a lot of work for other companies. That's her basic business. So, of course, it takes a little time for her to, of course, read through your content. She does have staff that she pays to do this as well, I gather. So some might come back, a little bit faster depending if you're fiction or whatever the case might be. But the key thing here is that you can submit through us, and we would just, because we're pushing directly to Amazon, we're not going through the KDP publishing platform or anything like that. There is no contact with the KDP staff, so to speak. What basically happens is that we would contact our publishing contact at Amazon and have them shoot that particular title over to the Kindle Singles team, and they, of course, would then read through your particular content, and they would make that particular determination. So, of course, what we could do is that if you think that your title really and truly is that strong, we could send it over to a literary agent, have that literary agent read it, and, of course, if they agree, then, we'll go over to our publishing consultant or publishing contact over at Amazon and say, hey, listen, can you get this over to the Kindle Singles team and see if, they agree with our literary agent. Again, at times we can get into things like the Kindle White Glove program, which is, of course, KDP Select for an entire year, which, incidentally, I agree with the White Glove program because Amazon is going to market your book for you. I have no problem with them saying that they will market your book for you if they can have exclusivity. And if other platforms want that same level of exclusivity, we'll let you know basically if, which platform basically would want to have exclusivity with your book if you're publishing through SpeedyCo. And finally, I have no website or Facebook. Will this cause an incomplete when I submit to SpeedyCo? No, it won't. So definitely it will not affect that. you should be good to go. So you won't have a problem with that. So you input, because as we mentioned before, this is not really key and critical data that's in your metadata, but we can actually ingest that data and pass that on to the retailer. So what basically maintains here is, even if you have no website or Facebook, that shouldn't happen, but you should have an author page. That's for sure. Even if you're using a pen name, you should have an author page. And typically we like to utilize the author page that is on Amazon.com just because of the different things that you can add to, whether it's video elements or image elements and stuff like that. You want to basically do that. You can put your blog or tweet or whatever you want to do on that particular page. There is, of course, also the Goodreads author page, which is also very handy and nifty. Another place that you would definitely also want to be if you do not have a website or Facebook or a Facebook page for that particular book. Okay, so let's head back into our Q&A session. So great. So I'm going to start at the top, and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of questions here. Whoa. Okie dokie. So I might have answered a couple of these questions in the webinar. Okay, great. So we're back at the top. Okay, random questions. Do you have experience buying backlinks to your book page and pinging them? Does it help or hurt sales? Any thoughts on this? Okay, so here's the thing. Buying backlinks is not typically a good thing, in my opinion. I'm going to tell you this. From an internet marketer's perspective, I would never buy a link if I can't ensure that I'm going to get traffic. Traffic is what you want, right? So if I'm going to buy a link, I'm going to buy a link to a web page that's on WebMD. And when I buy that link on WebMD, I'm going to try and buy that link that is on a page that is related to my particular book. And I wouldn't try to even buy just a text link, because a text link, while there is a high click-through rate, banners still work pretty well. And they will work if they're on a page that is related to your particular topic. So it's a clear indication. If you think about Google AdSense and how AdSense delivers ads, they deliver ads based on content or contextual analysis. So they analyze the content and they figure out the context of the content, and then they deliver an ad. If you are thinking about buying backlinks, the prudent thing to do would be to purchase backlinks that drive traffic. That is the key and critical issue here. So you don't want to go ahead and do that. You want to ensure that you are able to buy those particular backlinks that deliver traffic. So I wouldn't just be buying it to try and pass link juice to go up in the search rankings. That makes no sense. It's better that you just get a budget and buy AdWords traffic if that's what you're typically thinking of, because you cannot determine where you rank in the search engines. Okay, your audio is going in and out. Wow. Okay, that's not good. Okay, is there an ideal word count for a short description? Typically, it's going to be about, I'd probably say about 1,000 characters. Thereabouts is the typical size of it. Okay, what do you mean by adding most important chapters? Do you mean add the names of those important? That's exactly what I mean, Mihalis. Chapters that you think that people would want to see. So if you're doing something on weight loss and you name your chapters, if you have eat more and lose weight, or eat more food to lose weight, something like that. If someone has a problem with, let's say, I have trouble breathing, because of my weight, how to breathe, properly, even if you're overweight or even if you're obese, something like that. That will, of course, tell that particular person how to solve a particular issue, especially if your book is based around that. So you want to make sure that you add what you would consider those salient chapters to that particular text that you consider your long description. Okay, do you mean write a different author bio for in each book description? Typically, yes. For every single title, you want to write a different author bio because an author bio can go on every single product page. So you want to make sure that that is a particular case. Okay, what pixel size should your author photo be? It can be typically any size, but you want to make it as large as possible. I would probably say anywhere between, I'd probably say about 1200 in width, and probably I would go as low as 1500. Because what's going to happen is that that image is going to be resized. Okay. Is my audio the only one going in and out? Wow. Okay. The copyrights for reviews left for Kindle books are held by Amazon, so these reviews cannot be used in the back cover of your print. No, this is something that is a gray area, and I'm going to tell you exactly why. There's no way that if I created something and I placed it on a website, that website could really tell me that I couldn't place it anywhere else. So if I was to ask, for argument's sake, I was to ask Adrian and say, Adrian, go ahead and write a review for my book on ePinions. Could ePinions tell me that I could not use Adrian's comments and place that on the back of my book? That would be absolutely impossible. And if Amazon, that just couldn't hold up in court. That just would not hold water. So sometimes when you hear things and Amazon tells you, possibly if they find out and they think that it's really, against the grain, they might try and remove your book. The reality is that it's a ridiculous concept. And there's no, I would have to, what I'm going to do here, just to clarify this, and I'll make sure I add it in this week's Speedy Nugget. I will definitely email Amazon the minute that we end this webinar and ask them that question, because that would be absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. That could never, ever, ever be the case. Because if I was to contact that reviewer personally, if that reviewer gave me that particular comment on his own, right? So it's absolutely ridiculous. That would never, 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 ever work, and I strongly doubt that that could stand up in court. Okay, what DPI resolution do you recommend for the cover? 300 plus DPI. Okay, awesome. Adrian says, yes, of course. Okay, from Amazon, a book is judged by its cover. Your cover image can have excellent, exactly. And that's from Amazon, a direct impact on your reader's purchasing decision, and adding a high-quality cover is an effective way for you to inspire customer confidence and boost sales. Absolutely right. And that is, even when you're uploading your book, they tell you, Glennis, that is a particular case. Absolutely right. You're on the money there. Okay. Yes, here it is. Awesome. So everyone found that. That is absolutely awesome. Great, Becky. Thank you for that. Thanks, Glennis. Okay. So should all books, Deb is asking, should all books have a spine? Mine were the smaller size, 40 to 70 pages. Well, all books are going to have a spine. The thing is that if your book has enough pages, then the spine is going to be a little bit larger. Now, with our particular graphic designers, what we've spoken about at length is to try and ensure that we get something added to the spine. And that's pretty important. So you want to get something added to your spine, which is going to deliver a little bit of information. And it can also, of course, deliver the title, it can deliver the subtitle, and it can even deliver, a quote or whatever you want to have on that particular spine. That can go a long way in order to try and influence that particular purchase. Okie dokie. Oops, posted twice. Okay, no problem. What DPI, it should be DPI resolution do you use for ebook covers? Do you do 300 DPI just for paperback or ebook too? All. You use 300 DPI across the board. You do not. the image that we just looked on, you know, that looked so lifelike, it is the resolution of that particular image. And that's a shrunken ebook cover, typically. And what you're seeing there as the cover is to go on the particular website that is delivered by that particular distribution company. So the more lifelike that color is, that cover is, the higher the resolution, the better looking your cover will be when it's brought down in size to the thumbnail. Very, very, very important. Very, very, very important. Okay. Okay, Anton, I'm not sure if what if I'm not sure what should be on the cover? Okay, well, if you're not sure what's on the cover that you want to actually get on the cover, you can tell us, because as you mentioned before, the most important thing for us was to get individuals who were really great graphic artists, right? When you get into eBook Cover Factory, there are 200 templates that are there, and 100 added every single month. So it's very, very important for you to understand that. So because we add 100 every single month and we're capping off membership, you're going to have way more than you can actually have hands to fill. And I know that there are a couple of people who would want to join to try and turn it into a business. I would probably not do that. What we're trying to do here is to help all our authors really and truly put together some really solid covers. And one of the things that we like about these templates is because it gives us a lot of ideas. And it gives the designer, you, the author, a lot of ideas to start working with. And you can see something that you like, and you can mention that if you're ordering your own customized cover. And even if you don't know what to put on it, Anton, go ahead and leave that up to the designer and just tell the designer what the book is all about. And try and put as much information on what the book is all about, and our designer can take it from there. And you'll get that cover, the 3 covers in the XCF, as well as the different JPEG covers that can be uploaded, and PDF. They can be uploaded to your CreateSpace, of course, and to your digital book platforms, and that includes your audiobook cover as well. Okay, please repeat pixel cover dimensions. Your audio went in and out. That's so not good. The pixel size, Rad, is actually 300 DPI minimum. 300 DPI minimum, and the cover is typically 1563 by 2500, and that's specifically for the Kindle. We make our covers a little bit bigger so that they work with other platforms as well. So it's one cover that sits on all platforms. Okay, don't members... Okay, so the 50 cover templates that we have here are not the same 50 cover templates. What we basically provide you with on those particular templates are totally different templates, and we're in the process of uploading those templates as we speak right now. And those templates are a little bit more basic because they were basically done by designers who actually were early designers, and not what I would probably say these quality designers here, because I have started getting in their covers, and I can tell you, man, it's awesome does not describe it. I'm excited for a couple of our Publish Direct members and a couple of our Speedy Publishing members, because they're going to be able to really stand out in the crowd with these book covers for sure. It gives us a clear edge, and it's not something that we could leave out of the Speedy Publishing ecosystem. 268% in terms of sales tells you the importance of that book cover, and that should weigh in heavily, and that's definitely the reason why we wanted to create something that would allow us to have our hands on individuals. The designer the artist who previously worked for Macmillan is absolutely brilliant. Brilliant does not describe her. She is just breathtaking in terms of what she can create, and I love what they're doing right now, even as we speak. Okay. Awesome. Thanks, Adrian. Great. Awesome. Cool, Cedric. Awesome, awesome, awesome. No problem. Oh, Vic, Vic, can you, Vic, we're gonna probably try and get, well, the replay is gonna be on, so you should be able to hear. Glennis, we hear you. Nadine, Larry. Okay, awesome. Everyone's hearing me. Okay, the book covers you showed for romance. You can change out the photo easily on GIMP. Okay, so the photo side of it is not basically available. It's really the text. But what you can do is that you can email us that cover order. Each cover that's there has something called an SBP number. So you would take that Speedy SBP number, so it might be SBP-50, and you can just go ahead and email the admin desk, and the admin desk will shoot that over to our design and say, okay, well, hey, someone wants to basically get a kind of little change. If you can make unloosen, so to speak, the image. I am not pretty sure. As I said before, I'm not an expert on Photoshop. But in my training video, what I did was that I was able to show the different layers. And I'm sure if those images are layered out, then you should be able to amend them. So if you are, awesome with Photoshop, then that's something that you can possibly do. If not, shoot an email over to the admin desk, and they'll get right on that. Okay, awesome. Awesome. Okay, if I design my own Photoshop covers, do I have to do this to stay in the deal you offered me today? No. If you design your own Photoshop covers, Adrian, that is absolutely awesome. What I would basically do is I would probably try and take advantage of our designers. And what I would want you to do, Adrian, is on your next meet with your publishing consultant, discuss that with him. Because if you're a publish direct author, then you might just be able to work something out. So speak to your publishing consultant, and he should be able to help you out with that. Because if you're creating those particular covers, you and he should be able to discuss exactly what's going on. So if you wanted to make those particular changes, you could try and get that done for sure. We would definitely want to talk to you about that. So speak to your publishing consultant. We'll definitely try and see what can actually work for you with regards to that. Okay. If you are a member of eBook Cover Factory, if you still have to, okay, rad. Okay, so you have to actually be a member of eBook Cover Factory, and the reason why, and I'm just going to lay it out there so everyone understands. These guys who we've taken on are paid a very good salary, and what I mean a very good salary, I can give you an example. That design and artist who has chosen and said, do not tell anyone, even if I am male or female, much less my name. The key here is that they were being paid, I would probably say, upwards of $5K per month, and they were doing, I would probably say, piecemeal work. And the reality is that their skill set, the reason why that artist basically left, in our due deal, we realized that it was nothing untoward took place between them and that particular company, why they're no longer employed there. That person was just not able to move up in the, there was no upward mobility in the organization, so they left. As a result of that, they wanted to hone their skills, and we had to be competitive in terms of what it is that we are paying them. What this basically allows us to do is that we're able to keep them on. We're able to keep them on, and we want to keep them on for all Speedy Publishing members. So it could be a case that we could say, okay, well, look, we can charge, $50 a month, right? In my opinion, to me, that wouldn't really help everyone, right? So if we charge a yearly membership, right, it allows us to, of course, source those high-quality images that we need to source. It allows us to help paying our designers and our artists and to give you that high level of quality. And more importantly, when you pay for a customized cover, that keeps our designers busy, and you're getting really top-notch quality. And I can tell you off the bat, as a SpeedyPublishing.co member, that you do not want to publish your content somewhere that you're not going to get, or you're not going to see a really strong cover. You do not want to walk into Walmart and look on your cover and it looks absolutely awful, stretched all over the place, and it doesn't work, and your cover just does not look good. And you don't want that to be the case, especially, and I mentioned before, Espresso books. Espresso books is something that your book comes off like an ATM. It's printed right there at the retailer. So that should tell you that that little printing press that's right there is not typically of the highest quality in terms of print. Now, you imagine that you have a low DPI image and you have a low quality printing press. It's going to be in super low quality. Not a very cool thing at all. So that was a particular case. Okay, is it okay to add Amazon affiliate links to Amazon? No. Rad, are you a part of Speedy Publishing members or particular members? You need to be a part of that, because if you're not a part of that, you are missing out on something, man. So no, do not add Amazon affiliate links to Amazon products in your Kindle book. Do not do it. You will get into a lot of problems, not just with Amazon Kindle, as in the Kindle publishing side of things. You can also lose your affiliate account. They've been trying to sever that link between Amazon affiliates and Kindle sales. They have been doing it. They have been talking about it for weeks, and I guess I will hear more at the Book Expo in a couple of days. And I'll definitely have some more word on you for that, because I'm going to tackle them on that. Okay, went to the link you posted, cannot find any place to sign up for eBook Cover Factory. Okay, so, what you've got to do, Larry, what you actually have to do is just go ahead and fast forward that video. Once you fast forward that video a bit, it's going to appear, the add to cart button is actually going to appear right there. I should be able to, okay, here we go. Let me go ahead and send you the buy now link that goes directly to that PayPal page. Sorry about that, Larry, but you can watch that video that's right there on the sales page as well. That would basically carry you to the buy now link. Okay. I have a book title pending in SpeedyCo. Now, after tonight, I realize I need better back cover. Okay, it is too late to submit an updated cover. No, okay. So Francis, here's the thing. Remember that when you publish to us, what happens is that your content goes into what is known as a title group. So when your content enters into that particular title group, all your data is kept there on the repository. Now, because it takes a while for them to actually start the distribution process, we can just plop in anything that we want at that particular point in time, and then that is pushed to that particular retailer. Now, I'm going to tell everyone here kind of a little secret here. Depending on how your publisher account is set up, there is something known as auto, and of course, depending on the retailer. Auto basically means that your content is automatically updated on the retailer's page. That is something that is absolutely cool, and we have another training session with the guys over at Ingram, and it's just mind-blowing. It's just mind-blowing what they can do. Technology-wise, it's mind-blowing how much data can actually be passed through Onyx. And it's just, to me, it's just an awesome thing. We just never had a clue that auto feature could be turned on. Now, the thing is that you don't want to turn it on unless you're really, really sure, because what will actually happen is that once that information goes up, things can happen, people can buy the book. So if you push, a blank PDF, and that blank PDF goes up into Amazon, and Amazon ends up selling that blank PDF to a customer, and then they write back to complain about the blank PDF, here comes Amazon dropping us an email. So we don't actually turn on that switch just yet because we have to make sure that the content is, and I know you would appreciate that we have to make sure that the content goes over. It is technology. Anything can go wrong from time to time. So we have to be very, very careful. So what you can do is, of course, you can go ahead and place an order for an ebook cover. That would be absolutely fine. And once you go ahead and do that, just resubmit that through the FTP page. Let me see if I can actually go ahead and grab that particular page. I think, Francis, that you are the disaster. If it's your disaster book, well, for sure, what I'm going to ask you to do is, if you need to make any changes, just go ahead and upload that to the FTP uploads page. Ensure that you put in the title of the particular, you put in the title of the book that you are sending that information for, and then we can go ahead and add that to your overall title group. That would be clear. Okay, Adrian, should I do an author page on Goodreads in my pen name, or will Speedico want me to remove my books off Goodreads? No, no, do not remove your books off Goodreads. If we go and your book is already on Goodreads, what will happen is that when we ingest your title into our overall marketing structure, what will happen is that Goodreads, if you looked on the Goodreads, discovery marketing plan that we posted, you'll actually see that Goodreads offers a range of stuff. You offer a range of things in terms of discoverability. And what we'll basically do is that we'll add in all of those particular books that we have. And what happens is that your books will begin to get rotation. So if you're in the children's book niche, what's going to happen is that your book is going to continue to appear in a particular ad. Now, if we can find your book, so let's say that your book is now being published with CreateSpace and you have a discount link on that. Go ahead and grab that discount link, right? If we have, book available on Kobo, wherever, that will appear in the ad. So we structure each particular ad and images and all that stuff, because we could add any images that we want to those particular ads as well. So we have a little bit of playroom. So if your book is already there, the only thing that we would actually need, or we would actually inform you to do, is to actually add the ISBN. So we would have to give you that ISBN. Now, if it's in the form that you have it for your CreateSpace book, what we would actually have to do is to re-add it with our own ISBN, because that would be key and critical. So we'd have to have that ISBN updated. But for the digital book, we could just give you that particular ISBN. Once you look for it online, once you do a general search of your book, you'll start to see your book all over the place. So you'll be able to grab that ISBN yourself, and or talk to your publishing consultant. You talk to your PC, and he'll ask him, send you a list of your ISBNs, because your ISBNs of course are based on the imprint that you are working with. And of course, as we mentioned before, we've got some really, really great imprints. Those are going to be published in a couple of days on the Speedy Publishing platform, speedypublishing.co platform. And for kids books, I know there's Jupiter Kids and Speedy Books, Speedy Kids, and of course Baby Professor. So those are the 3 children's book imprints that we do have. And of course, if you are a major publishing company, or you want your own imprint, you would speak to your publishing consultant about that as well. So, no, Adrian, you don't have to remove that. We'll be adding everything that we need to add to those particular pages. No problem, Rad. No problem. Okay, can I use the complete Amazon reviews on web pages, on book cover, etc., or can you only use a portion of the review? Now, again, this is a gray area, but I'll tell you, there's no way Amazon can claim copyright on what someone else. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I don't know how that would stand up. It just couldn't test. It just would fail. It would just not make sense in court. If I wrote something on ePinions, would ePinions tell me that they are in control of what I just wrote? Right? If they want to remove it, then they can remove it, but they gave it to me, and it's in the public domain. So, I mean, how are you going to... I don't know, Rad, why Amazon would do that, but we will get to the bottom of it, and you can be guaranteed that you'll get the answer in the next Speedy Nugget that's posted. That is just, in my opinion, not real at all. Okay, for the deluxe author plan at Speedy Books, with the books being sold at wholesale prices, can my ebook be available through Kindle Direct Publishing at the full price? Okay, so yes, it can, but here's the thing. If you price your book at $4.99 on Amazon and you come to us and say, okay, well, I am placing my price of my book at $4.99, then you know that the other platforms are going to price it whatever they feel like pricing it, because that's the wholesaler model, right? That basically means if someone wants to price it at 50% off, they will undersell Amazon. No, the reality here is that Amazon has, the moniker basically, we're the cheapest online. If you do that, then, Amazon would have to drop the price of your book. In reality, that can work to your benefit pretty much if they do that, but they're going to pay you. I don't see them paying you royalties on $4.99 if they had to drop the price of your book just to compete with someone else, and you are of course distributing that content. It wouldn't be it just wouldn't make sense. So in my opinion, if that's what you intend to do, because you're going to keep your books on Kindle, then you've got to basically price what you have it on Kindle, to the other individuals, or you want to have to just go ahead and raise the price a bit, and that would basically be the choices that you would have open to you. I would basically, in terms, because I don't publish anything else right now through that particular scenario, and I price my books at the 50% price. So my recommended retail, of course, if my book is on Amazon for $2.99, my recommended retail is $4.99. And then, of course, it drops all the way down to a little bit below $2.99 just to make sure that it's going to be competitive, right? So you figure out as much that you want to keep that in line at the same time. You don't want Amazon to really and truly, start seeing you as a shark in terms of, getting your content out there and then trying to compel them to pay, that. And that just doesn't fly in the agency model either. So that would probably not actually work, James. Okay. Da-da-da. Sorry, found it hard to find. No problem, man. Okay. If I were to order a customized cover and had a change with, say, the title after finalization, I received my package, would I still have granted access to get it changed? Yes, you would. If the turnaround time would be 24 hours, what you'd have to do is that you'd have to speak to the help desk for that. Now, ebook covers has general help, which is in Speedy Publishing Co., but as we mentioned before, there are dedicated individuals who are a part of of Ebook Cover Factory. So it's a totally different admin desk. There is a single individual who is assigned to that particular admin desk, and they will be working directly with individuals who are part of Ebook Cover Factory, because there can be different changes. There can be questions you might have in terms of how to use the templates and stuff like that. So for sure, you want to basically we wanted to make sure that there was one individual who is attached directly to that as well. Okay, if I were to order a customized cover, okay, not that. Okay, 9. Not okay, Francis, 9. Okay, awesome. Okay, cool. I have not heard the audio go in and out. It has been high quality since the beginning, at least for me. Great, Larry. That's awesome. Okay, we get Photoshop for free. Just so okay, Deb. No, actually. Okay, so Photoshop is, you can download Photoshop and you can use it for free for 30 days. Now, because what we basically do is that we have emailed Photoshop, and this is just to see if this can work. Photoshop has a service where they provide you with, I think it's per user. So what we basically do is that we pay like 69 bucks, and for each particular user, they can actually use Photoshop. No, we've been talking to them about a multi-license because we have upwards of 700 members in Speedy Publishing. And I'm not sure if every single member, I know for one, a good number of our members do not have the latest version of Photoshop. So we've been talking to them about that and asking them what rate they would be able to give us and every single member who wanted Photoshop. And they haven't actually come back because we can't, we said they want to know exactly how many members. We told them imagine or put it up to say 100. So I'm pretty sure that we could probably get 100 people who would be interested in Photoshop. They're yet to come back to me to tell me what kind of price that they'll be looking at so that we could actually divide that, and then we could say, okay, well, hey, look, it's not 69 bucks or it's not 49 bucks. It's 10 bucks a month for you to get Photoshop if you're going to come through this link. And we'll discuss that with them and say, okay, well, we need to make our members aware of that. And then get their feedback, so you could actually get Photoshop for basically 10 bucks. Because the reality is that there is strength in numbers, right? So that's basically what you've got to do. And once we're Speedy Publishing, a lot of doors have been open to us because there are the strength in numbers, and we have so many members that we're working along with. So the more members that are in Speedy Publishing, the ecosystem, it's the stronger we are in terms of bargaining power to get things done. So that basically is what we're using to our advantage to open a lot of doors for the members. For all members, Deb. For all members. Okay. It looks like a great service. I would like to order a cover today. I don't seem to be able to order. Okay, can you head to 24hourcovers.com and then look for the top link? I'm going to ask Nadine to basically just go ahead and add that. I'm going to talk to her about adding that that page back up there. I didn't see it actually when I looked, so there might be a couple of changes that need to be made to it. But if you get to 24hourcovers.com, and there should be a link on the top that says order now, all you've got to do is hit that order now button, and then all you've got to do is go ahead, order, then come back to 24-hour covers, and then what will actually happen is that you're going to be able to fill in that data, and then you'll actually see the code drop. You'll be sent an email. That email will have that timestamp in there, and you'll see that 24-hour covers, and then you'll know exactly at what time you're going to have to get back your cover. And then you'll know basically that for sure that you got it within the 24 hours. And if, of course, you do have a problem, you can go ahead and email the help desk, and they can get that done. Okay. Can I decide on this cover? Sure, Becky, no problem. Sure, Becky, that's not an issue. No problem there. Okay, Colin, if I publish ebooks for others authors, can I use templates from eBook Cover Factory to make their cover? Sure, Cedric. As long as you're a member, as we mentioned before, that's what we're basically doing. Once you are a member, then yes, you can definitely do that. I can sanction that once you're a member, because basically I don't see anyone who is really going to be a member here who is not going to be a Speedy Publishing member. That is the truth of the matter. And again, we are just creating stuff that works for all our members. That is the key. Okay, that answered my question too. Okay, awesome. Okay, I just spoke with an author who says an affiliate link can still be used in current books. That's why I was asking. Brad, that is absolutely wrong. That can never, ever go. And I can tell you that you cannot use affiliate links in your kit. Please do not do it. Please do not do it. You will get banned. Do not do it. It just takes one person to make that complaint, and you will get banned. Okay, go to members area. It will say to sign up in another page. It took a moment, but I'm in. Right, Deb, it might be a kind of situation where that if you're using Internet Explorer, that it kind of does that. And as we speak right now, Miso and Arturo are looking into that right well. Okay, please cover prices of membership. Okay, Victoria, we cover prices $97 per year to enter into ebook cover factory. That gives you access to 24-hour covers, which is $30. And one of the things, okay, so someone just emailed me, and I got this email. So they're saying that if they bought a cover on Fiverr, it would actually cost them upwards of $35 to get everything that they're getting for that particular cover. So you're getting really, really high. You're getting some really, really high quality covers for the same price that you would get on Fiverr in a shorter period of time. That's awesome. That is awesome. Okay, looking forward to the replay. Audio still going in and out. Oh, I'm so sorry about that, Rad. So sorry about that, man. Okay, great webinar. Thank you. Okay, can we use the cover templates, change the images and text, and create our own covers, ebook and paperback, without using the graphics art? Sure. Glennis, if you're really good at using Photoshop, then yes, you can definitely do that. That would be awesome. I would love to see. I would love to see the end result. I would definitely love to see that end result, Glennis. That would be absolutely awesome. The templates are there, and then there are more, because there's so many that are going to be added over a period of time that it's going to, I said before, for 200 people to have access to 1,500 or more, probably about 2,000, because we're adding, you can probably have more being added. You're talking about a massive number of templates. So that is definitely something that you'll be able to play with once you are pretty good at Photoshop. Okay, concerning covers from SpeedyBook, will they be optimized for SpeedyCo like the other ones from eBook Factory are specifically for paperback versions? Yes, they will. So that's one of the things that we wanted to talk about, because as we learn more and we go on and on and on in terms of the books that we are creating, we make those changes to our existing SpeedyBooks. We change those things because we want to. When we're trying to create SpeedyBooks now, what we're trying to do is to create those particular SpeedyBooks to go into the SpeedyPublishing.co system, because that's one of the key things here. Because if you can do that, then it now becomes a realistic and, you know, streamlined business plan where you can create your books and then get your books marketed. That's typically what we want to look on from the get-go. So it's a straight business, you know, a straight line right into, you know, just concentrating on your ROI, because we do have people that say, okay, well, I just want to create my books, or I don't have the time to do that. They'll actually create those particular books as well and, you know, try and get them up, but they become confused and trying to learn all the platforms, and then they run into problems about doing this. One of the things that I absolutely do love is the fact that we don't have to deal with the headache of trying to make sure that our books are set up into different you know, structures and stuff like that. We just have that content in EPUB, in MS Word, and the required formats, and they are a go. And that's basically what we love about SpeedyPublishing.co. No worries or no problems there. Okay, but I made a mistake and put my real name and not my pen name. Okay, no worries. What I will do is that I will speak to Margot from Goodreads and ask her to see if she can make a couple of changes. So what I want you to do, Adrian, is if you can drop me a line with a link to your Goodreads page, then I can just email her and copy you on that particular email. If she does say that, because she's in advertising, but she could definitely point us in the right direction on what would be the prudent move to get that done. So not to worry, that you can still keep your account and your author page. We would just basically be making sure that your books would appear with the right ISBN and the right covers and the right metadata that would help it you know, sell a little bit more. Okay, yep, that is what we would need to do. Awesome. Okay, for published books through SpeedyCo, do we have to keep the retail price between 90 and 99 cents? Some of our books are textbooks. Absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome, Julie. For sure, Julie, please discuss that with your publishing consultant. We got some really good news today with regards to textbooks. So yeah, please discuss that with Paul. I will speak to him on that. I was not aware that some of your books are textbooks, which retail for $24.95 to $33 currently. Yes, that can be done. The marketing and information that we do in terms of ingestion for textbooks is kind of different, and there are some good things that we're seeing, good signs with respects to that we're seeing for textbooks as well. Okay, concerning Speedy, actually we know. Can we actually know when the manuscript were approved? How do we know when it's published? Okay. So when you see something that says in distribution, that means that your content has been uploaded to our distributor. And that basically means in a matter of days is when your book will actually, you can actually start searching for your book live online. Now, our team that does the marketing actually does that every single day. So they run that particular search on the different retailers. As we all know, that if your book is with Amazon, Amazon is the fastest. But, of course, Barnes & Noble is also pretty fast. So the minute that we see your book, your first title out on Barnes & Noble, then the marketing process starts. At that particular point in time, you'll get an email indicating that your book is live here with the first retailer. And what will actually happen is that you'll be able to see the imprint and your ISBN that is assigned to that particular book. Because what we didn't want to do was that when your book is posted, then we send you an email. And then when your book, is ingested or taken in by those retailers, we have to send you another email. What we want to do is that wait until your book is ingested by a particular retailer, and then send you that particular email with the relevant information. So we wouldn't actually be emailing you constantly. So what you'll actually see is the minute that it is sitting on the Ingram platform is when you would actually see what is known as the in distribution notification that's on that particular page. And that, of course, does take a little bit of time because we've got to make sure that your book appears the way how it's supposed to appear, especially if you did not upload an EPUB. As we mentioned before, we have that converter. We actually will go ahead and convert your book into EPUB, right? Because it makes sense for that to basically happen. Now, if we realize that there is a problem in terms of formatting, we have to resign that particular EPUB version, and then we're going to have to just submit through Microsoft Word. Now, as we mentioned before, all the majors take the Microsoft Word version. So if you've uploaded Microsoft Word, we're good with that. So the majors will take that, and a couple of the minors, but the majors will take that. The minor ones, no, there is, of course, going to be a slight difference, and we'll indicate that to you in an email. So there, as I mentioned before, one publishing consultant, there is a publishing consultant that takes care of all of our, all of the members who are in Speedy Publishing Co. divided into up to a particular, I think it's deluxe upwards. There is a dedicated publishing consultant who is working with the staff to make sure that the content is put together correctly and is ingested correctly. Okay. Got that, Cedric. I have 10 ISBNs for my books written by Speedy. Let us do it for you, and have not yet been activated. I have not yet published the books. Okay. Okay, Larry, right. Can I use same ISBNs for Speedy Co., or do I have to get new ones? Love your webinar, so important. No problem. Thanks for that, Larry. Okay, so here's the thing, Larry. You've got your 10 ISBNs. They're all already Speedy Publishing ISBNs. What we would want to do is that we need to put your specific books in imprints. Now, as you mentioned before, we have different imprints. So I know specifically that you did have a particular book that you did do dedicating that to a family member. That has stuck out in my mind. And I'm thinking which imprint would actually work for that particular book. We have about 25 or 26 imprints, but we would take that ISBN number that you have and have the guys over at BOCO, because they're the ones who actually control that. So they give us a block of imprints. And when they give us a block of imprints, we inform them, okay, well, these 100 imprints belong to this particular imprint. These ISBNs belong to this particular imprint. And these other 200 ISBNs, they belong to this particular imprint. So it's structured in that particular way. Now, the ISBNs that you have belong to us generally with no imprint indicated. What we would basically do is to take your 10 ISBNs and then assign those ISBNs to particular imprints for the books that you basically have. So what I would probably want you to do, Larry, is to just inform me basically what are the ISBNs that were assigned to those particular ones. I think they should be on your book. So I think I should be able to ask Amanda to double check that and to get that information over to me as quickly as possible. And then when you're ingesting your books, you'd be able to just ingest that information as well and let us know that particular ISBN. I think there is also an option that should allow you to upload or add when you're adding your book. You can go ahead and plug in that ISBN there. That option, I think, should be available to you as well. So we would just assign that ISBN to a particular imprint by informing BOCO. So we wouldn't have to get new ISBNs for you at all. Okay. Colin, the version of Photoshop CS2 is free on the Adobe website. Okay, awesome, awesome, great. Nice. Nice, Cedric. Did not know that. Is GIMP really that much different except it's free? Typically, Deb, it's pretty easy to use. So that is not definitely a problem to use. It's kind of different from Adobe. It's not as advanced, I'm going to be honest with you. But it is the free version, and it is very, very easy to use. If you look on using the templates link, we basically give you, so you can click on using our templates. We give you 4 training videos. So we tell you exactly how to edit your templates with Photoshop, and you can download Adobe Photoshop here. You can edit your templates with XCF, which are your XCF templates with GIMP, and we show you exactly how to do that right here. We show you how to upload your images to KCC, and finally we show you how to add your cover images to CreateSpace, which is very, very, very simple to do. So if you're publishing on CreateSpace, then you can go ahead and do that. And it's very, very simple to teach anyone how to do this. The videos are not typically longer than 12 minutes. And the longest one is, of course, Photoshop here, and that's 13 minutes right there. So typically extremely, extremely easy to do them. It's not really that much different. It's just that Photoshop, in my opinion, is a little bit more advanced. No problem, Deb. No problem. Okay, I'm in a member area, Colin. I can't see the order form. I'll mail help. Head over to HTTP. Let's see, www.24hour. Here we go. 24hrcovers.com, and I'll send that to everyone. Once you head there. Once you hit here, there it is. You can click this link here that says you must order first, order a cover now. You can go ahead and click that link right up there, and that will basically take you to the order page. When you get back, all you do is fill in the data, ensure you put in your PayPal unique transaction number, and then enter in your information here. And of course, if you need, well, you should have information for the back cover of your book. That's for sure. And then you should definitely choose an author image to upload. Okay. Okay, Firefox, Deb. Okay, awesome. It isn't your audio color. Okay, awesome. You can get free. It's a discontinued product, but works fine. Awesome. Nice. You just need to upload. Thanks for that, Glennis. Thank you for that, Glennis. Let me grab that link. Awesome, Glennis. Awesome, awesome, absolutely awesome. Thank you for that. I'm going to pick, whoops, okay. Strange. Okay, okay, great. Here we go. So I grabbed that link, and I should be able to paste it here and send to all. I think I just sent that off, Glennis. Thank you so much. That was awesome. So everyone should get that. Adrian. Okay. Whoa. Is that the last question? Okay. So guys, we're at the last okay. Okay. There we go, Larry. Okay. Larry, okay, Larry, you just came in. Okay. I don't know if it would be feasible, but I'm thinking I would like to find edits to edit my books for a reasonable price. Would it be an idea to maybe setting something like this, you Speedy? It's taking me forever to edit my 10 books, instead of it really holding you up. Okay. Okay. Ooh. We can recommend someone to do that. The problem is that they might take a little bit of time too. What I'm going to ask you to do, Larry, is I'm going to have someone reach out to you first thing in the morning to kind of get something going here, because our books should not be that difficult to edit, and I'm going to speak to Team Alpha about that, because while we do make every effort to ensure that the content is on point, there are going to be some grammatical errors, because I mean 10 eyes are just better than 4, and that's just the reality of it. So the more people that look on it, they're going to find different things that can be changed. If there are grammatical errors, someone might have missed that. And that goes through a rigorous editing process, which is why the creation of our books take a little bit of time, because it's looked on from the content creation stage to the compilation stage. There should not be that many errors, so I'm going to ask you, Larry, to go ahead and drop me a line, and I'm going to have someone reach out to you tomorrow to probably try and get that resolved very quickly for you. That is not what's supposed to be happening at all. So let's see if we can speed up the process on that, Larry. Awesome. Got that. Awesome, Larry. Okay. Definitely great. Awesome. Okay, so I think that is the last question. And everyone, I am going to end the webinar and end the recording. So awesome. You're welcome, Larry. You're welcome. You're welcome, guys. Okay, great. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Awesome. Absolutely awesome. Don't forget, guys, to check out. Thanks, Adrian. Thanks, Deb. Thanks, Becky. Thanks, Max. Okay, great. Don't forget to check out ReaderLink. Don't forget to check out ReaderLink. Learn a little bit more about them. If you're in SpeedyCo, your books are going to be going here. That means that you can walk in with your iPad in Kohl's and buy your own book, or Toys R Us. Definitely great thing here for Toys R Us and children's books. I found that very interesting, which is a great thing that ReaderLink is doing. It's going to be an awesome, absolutely awesome thing. Okay, so great, Elizabeth. No problem. Okay, everyone, so I'm going to end the webinar now, and I will see you all in our next training session that should be coming out in a couple of days, and as well as at Speedy Nugget. I will not forget to verify that issue with those reviews. I will definitely be emailing Amazon this afternoon, and I will reach out to our publishing contact to find out exactly, because it makes no sense, and I can guarantee you that Amazon should not be able to tell you not to be able to use a comment that was placed in the public domain. It just defies logic that someone would say that, or Amazon would even dare to try that. It would just be probably a scare tactic. I don't think that there's anything that could be held in water to that, but I will get to the bottom of it, and I will inform everyone as part of this week's Speedy Nugget. So, okay, everybody, bye. Thanks for attending the webinar. The replay will be up in probably tonight. We're using a kind of a different system, and we're a little bit smarter in terms of using this particular system here. So, okay, everyone, take care, and we will see you in the next training that goes on actually to be shot tomorrow and posted over the weekend. Okay, bye, everyone. Thanks for attending.